Anything you do in life, you can make mistakes. Mistakes are usually looked at as bad things, but if you learn from your mistakes, it can be a good experience. Not repeating the same mistake over and over and over is actually a good thing. Today I'm going to talk about collector mistakes in regards to Masterpiece Transformers. Most of this can be translated over into collecting anything, doing other things, but mostly for Masterpiece Transformers. We're going to talk about this. I'm going to share my experiences. Coming up. So hopefully this video helps new collectors, and if you've been collecting for a long time like myself, maybe you get a laugh out of my pain that I'm going to share. But starting out, the first mistake people make is actually a two-part mistake. To sell or not to sell. Now, I did sell off my Fans Toys Soar. I bought it, the launch version, the first version that came out. This is one of the two third parties I jumped on right away. This and the X-Transbots Apollyon. And this is a great figure. In fact, there's a lot to the first release that I didn't know about versus the other iterations that came, such as the packaging change. But I sold this one off because I got what I felt was a bigger, better representation from Gigapower. Now, again, I sold this thing, made 50 bucks more than I bought it for originally, felt pretty good about it. Gigapower was only 150. I was up a little bit of money. It was great. But I regret it now, selling this thing off. Buying it back's now 400 bucks or more to get your hands on one of these, and unless they reissue it, I'm not going to get my hands on another one. And if they reissue it, it's probably going to be $220 from Fans Toys straight up. There was a time Fans Toys Willis was selling for like $400, $350, $400, $425, and I was thinking maybe I should sell mine because I wasn't in love with it. I knew a better version would come along, and eventually one did. Now, collectors would argue that the Fans Toys version is more solid. It doesn't break as easy as the Takara, but I like the look of Takara. Even though my Takara is now broken, it's superfluous. It's just a part that doesn't matter, so I don't really care that much. But looking at these two side to side, I like Takaras more. But to sell or not to sell, a lot of times you can sell something and buy 2, 3, or 4 figures instead of that one, and you might not have that opportunity again. You might not have the opportunity to capitalize that. And I don't care what anybody says. Selling something for $400, you should sell it for retail. No, that's not how the world works. That's not how capitalism works. And that's not how collecting works. So the next collector mistake is buying stuff that you don't really want. And I gotta tell you, I was pretty good at this one. I didn't do too much of this. A lot of people were raving about Fans Toys Quake Wave, and I thought it looked terrible. I think it does not look good to today, the day I first saw it in pictures, and the day I handled my friends, and I thought, this is not what I want for my Shockwave, and I passed. Now, there's a lot of discussion. Well, when you bought it when it came out for like $160 or $200, it went to $400 for a while. You could have doubled your money or whatever. If you are just looking to invest in a toy, maybe it was a good one. But for me on my shelf, it wasn't for me, so I passed, and I'm happy. See, now, Takara came out with their version, which looks spot on. It looks fantastic. Transformation is weird, but not bad. They did make another Plus version with a better color than that. And then Quake Blast from Cloud9 came out, and it's stylized too, but looks more like Shockwave, in my opinion, than what Fans Toys did. I like the Cloud9 better than the Fans Toys, and I've handled Fans Toys, so I can actually speak to that. It's just a personal preference, and I avoided this figure, and I'm happy. Now, one mistake I did make, buying a figure I knew I wasn't going to like, was this one here with the Function X version Sigma, and it's their take on Mindwipe. I knew I wasn't going to like it because it's stylized. And it's not really a Masterpiece scale. It's a little bit bigger than a Chug scale. It is really a cool figure. It's different and way out there, but it wasn't for me. And shortly after that, we got Fans Toys Dracula, which is exactly what I wanted. Right spot on. Not even exactly. I do think the Fans Toys Dracula, the colors are not purple enough, not a deep enough. It's more like a pink than a purple. So there is some criticism there, but I like it so much better than the Function X, and it serves my needs so much more. So yeah, I did make a mistake buying something I didn't really want, but it was a filler. We could talk more about fillers, but that might be a whole video. The next collector mistake that, yes, I make, we all make this mistake, is buying something just because it's on sale. Just because it's on sale doesn't mean you should buy it. And there's usually a good reason that it's on sale. Now this Omnigonic Spinout was on sale, and I was like, well, I don't have a good representation of that character. It looks decent. In fact, it does look really good, but it has a lot of QC issues. There are a lot of issues that plague this figure. And if you do everything perfect, you can make it look good on your shelf. So there is that for the figure, but I bought it anyway. And this is probably one of the bigger third-party jokes out there. DACA Toys Kronos is a sick joke also, because its price was a $400 one for a while. This thing never saw above MSRP. In fact, most of these sold for $40 or less. I mean, if it went less than 40, I'm maybe 25. I never saw it, but it doesn't surprise me because this figure does have a lot of issues, and buying stuff just because it's on sale, remember, there's a reason it's on sale. So the next collector mistake that I've made, and a lot of people do this too, is transforming the figures. No, breaking them while you transform them. There's a lot of reasons why you break your figures while you transform them. You don't follow the instructions, you're rushing through it. Those are my two biggest problems. Or when you feel like it doesn't quite go, like it should do this, but it doesn't feel right, and you force it, you shouldn't be surprised when you break it. And that's usually when I break something, I'm forcing it, and oh, it should have gone the other way. So there are a lot of user error mistakes that cause breakages in these figures, and the vast majority of the figures will never get transformed. We know this statistically. 65 to 70% of the Masterpiece Transformers, and most specifically third-party Transformers, will never see their alt mode ever in the entire lifetime of them. And transforming them could eventually break them. Now, if you don't break your figure transforming it, you're also going to reduce the tolerance. You're going to make it loose. For the most part, though, these are not made to flip back and forth over and over and over like a $20 toy on the shelf, on the toy aisle, or I guess now $50 toy on the toy aisle. The $200 figures are meant to stand there as display pieces and maybe once go to alt mode, but not 3, 4, 5 times. They won't last. The next collector error, and this is another big one, is not pre-ordering. Failing to pre-order. This is a big deal because if you don't pre-order, you miss out on a lot of stuff. First off, pre-order discounts. A lot of times you can get in right at the pre-order level and it is cheaper. It used to be a long time ago that you could wait for a sale. Maybe 2 months after the figure comes out, they get marked down a little bit. Now it's pre-orders sell out months before they're released. It's a different world, changing landscape. It's easy to make that mistake, especially if you're in this game for a long time and you're used to seeing the sales. If you are used to seeing sales and watching figures go on sale, and then now you can't get them, well, guess what? It's a new world, and I gotta say, new world from 2019, 2020, and now 2021. You gotta get on that pre-order as soon as it's up, or you will miss out, or you'll pay double, triple, quadruple at release. So the next collector mistake that I see, and I have done, is passing on a figure. Now there's a lot of reasons people pass on figures. I passed on Phoenix. I didn't pre-order it. There were plenty when it released during that time in like 2017 or 18 or whenever that came out, because I thought the price was too high at 220, which, by the way, it still was a very high priced figure. Now the reissue comes out. They reissued it for 260, and they did the X version at 260. Then they reissued it again. It's available now here and there for about 300 if you're lucky, but for the most part you're paying 400 and more. So 220 doesn't sound so bad. Passing on figures, for whatever the reason, you're gonna pay a late tax down the road. Now, there's a lot of reasons that are good reasons, like legitimately it's not in your budget, you just can't afford it this month. Legitimately, I think there's a better version coming than Fans Toys version. Legitimately, there's a lot of reasons to pass, but I've passed on this and I paid the late tax, I got burned, and I don't pass on too many other figures that I'm pretty sure I'll like going forward. And the last collector mistake is, of course, buying a figure at secondary market for way too much money. Now, this is another double-edged sword. Somebody buys a Lupus for $300, $400, $500, and then what if another company makes it, Fans Toys comes with a 2.0 or something like that, and you can get it for half or a third of what you paid? Well, there's a double-edged sword here. First off, you'll feel bad that you spent too much. Second off, there is a very high chance Fans Toys will never put this exact version back out. And there's actually a very high chance Fans Toys will never revisit this with a 2.0. So this particular figure, along with a few other different figures that they've made in the past, such as Spotter, they're probably not going to make another version of this. They may make a 2.0, but it's very low chance. And if they do, they'll never make it exactly like this. So this is still a unique one-off. So it's a double-edged sword. Paying too much for something that's going to be really rare in the future because there's only a finite number out there, or paying too much and then feeling bad you didn't get on the 2.0 version. These are mistakes, but they're also decisions that you're going to have to make going forward. So let me know what you think about all of these collector mistakes. Did I help you? Did you get a laugh out of my pain? I want to hear what you have to say about all of this. What mistakes have you made in the past? What did you learn from going forward? How does it shape your future of collecting because you've made mistakes? Because you've watched other people make mistakes? Because you've learned vicariously through other people? Like and subscribe. Titanium Hanger out.